Okay, this is Kevin Hoesley for WGRE News. I'm here with writer, singer, producer, piano player, rock, pop, pretty much everything under the sun that's great about music, Todd Rundgren.
I would take piano player out of that mix. I don't play the piano much anymore. I can do it on records, but I really suck at it live. So I don't like to brag about my piano playing at all.
He's also very humble.
Yeah, well, about the piano playing at least. Great to be here. It's my first time in Greencastle, which makes it my first time at DePauw.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are certainly excited to have you here. So my first question would be, so the lecture is called Music, Technology, and Risk-Taking. Can you take us through the general message of what you were trying to convey in your Ubben Lecture tonight?
Well, that's really just a placeholder, I would say. We're not going to try and keep it strictly to any one of those things. I want to talk about what people are interested in more than anything. I can speechify on any particular one of those topics, and we certainly will probably get to aspects of technology and risk-taking as well. But ideally, you want to leave people with something practical, at one of these events to make it worth their while spending the hour or hour and a half or however long. I don't know it's going to go, but ideally, yeah, something practical, something that transcends my experience and is fitting of a more general kind of experience.
I'm sure it'll be pretty interesting no matter what.
Well, I hope so. It's the worst thing in the world to be boring, because I know what it's like to be bored. So I certainly don't want to contribute to anyone's sense of boredom already. But I think we'll have a good time. We're going to hopefully have a lot of interaction with the audience and get to deal with the particular issues that they're interested in.
Okay. So my next question, in your crossover from performing to producing, what skills have you developed, and how has your ear for sound and music changed since that time?
It's funny, when I got into producing, I thought it was a way to get away from the politics of being in a band. But one of the unheralded aspects of being a record producer is the fact that you also have to be a politician and a psychiatrist and, various other less music. You wouldn't think of them as being directly related to the production of music. But you're dealing with personalities who are in a situation that for them can seem very stressful. You're capturing their musical ideas, and depending on their comfort level in the studio, you may have to do a lot of hand-holding. You may have to get between various members of a band, to try and get them to settle issues that probably should have been settled before they come into the studio. But record production isn't simply knowing about what all the knobs do, or even where to put the microphones, or even what is the best key to modulate to, at this point of the song. It is also an aspect of performance, trying to get the musical act, whoever they are, to forget about the fact they're in the studio and perform as if they were in front of people.
So my next question is kind of a college-esque question, but I'd like to ask you what is in your iPod right now? So who are some of the new artists that have caught your ear and your attention?
Well, I don't have an iPod. I do have a computer with a fairly big library, but I haven't spent much time collecting new music to my shame. I don't have a lot of the new artists on my lips, and I also hear a whole lot of bitching about, like the status of music, which doesn't make it appealing, to go out and sort of look for new artists. I know of some new artists because I have a 17-year-old son, and he listens to them, and he's got probably better than average taste, but a lot of it does tend to blend together. Linkin Park has spawned so many little Linkin Parks that it gets hard to tell them apart. And And in that sense, I guess I'm just like everybody else. I'd like to hear something really new and different, and then I'll probably be able to focus a little better.
The risk of sounding biased, I totally agree with your Lincoln Park statement. So 2 more questions. So you're here in Greencastle for the night. You're giving your speech, but what are your future plans after this?
Well, I'm still on tour. I'll be continuing on in Covington, Kentucky tomorrow, and then throughout the Northeast and ending up in Chicago. Then I will take a couple of days and go see my oldest son play some baseball in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Then I'm going to be one of the counselors, I guess you call it a counselor, at a rock camp in Los Angeles for a couple of days. And then I'll go back to Hawaii. I have about a month off, and I'll noodle around with little projects that I have, but mostly just try and relax, because in June I start touring again. So it's a lot of touring. Most interesting recent event was that I haven't done a lot of productions recently, but I did do the New York Dolls next record, and that'll be out in May, I believe. So there's that. There's something you did in the past, but people don't know about it until the future. So I could say that that's something interesting to look out for.
And I have one more pressing question that's kind of from my own curiosity. As you may know, WGRE's 60th birthday is coming up soon, and we received a very special birthday wish from Comedy Central Stephen Colbert of the Colbert Report.
Oh, sweet.
And when former Cars vocalist, I'm sorry to say his name is difficult to pronounce, Rick Ocasek.
Okasik.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was way off. Was asked,
I like your pronunciation better. It sounds more like a vegetable or something.
when asked to add anyone to his choice of the On Notice board of Stephen Colbert, he chose you. And I was wondering, and the On Notice board is the kind of wag of the finger board towards this person. Do you have any idea why he might have chosen this?
Well, I have to say, fortunately, I'm off the board now.
Good news.
But I do know why I got chosen. I can, if nobody saw what led up to that, what essentially happened is scientists determined that Christ could not walk on water, or something like that, and Stephen Colbert went off and said, this is absolutely not true. People can walk on water, and as a demonstration, he showed a little clip of a Cars video, It's Magic, where they put like a little plastic table in a pool, and Rick Ocasek walked across it, and that's how he got Rick on the show. But it was also right around the same time that I decided that I would sub for him in the new Cars. Rick decided he didn't want to tour anymore, and he wasn't going to go out, so I became the lead singer of the Cars. And I think that this was just some sort of I don't think it was there was any ill will behind it. I think it was a funny gag. But when that happens to you, you don't see it coming. I watch the show fairly religiously, and when they suddenly pull my name out of the box, you feel a little woozy, like, am I dreaming this?
Yeah.
But, I was on there for years, literally, until he got into this whole thing where he just cleared out a whole bunch of people. And then I, without even the opportunity to go in and plead my case, I would just remove from the list again. Kind of like, being swept up in Guantanamo or something like that, and then they declare you innocent and let you go.
Well, it's both good and bad, really.
Yeah, it's sort of. But it's always good to see him hold up your name, And whenever we've been to New York, I've offered to, come on the show and figure out what his gripe was. But now it's history.
Well, Todd Rundgren, thank you for sitting down with us. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Happy 60th.